has been back since their early 2000. I don't want to call it a letdown, but in the early 2000s where they just kind of became average. So we'll see if Florida State can bounce back next week. It's definitely going to be a long season for Seminoles fans for sure. Big game last night, of course, was the Clemson Tigers and the Louisville Cardinal. We had Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson going at it. Two big, long, lean, strong-arm, fast, quick running quarterbacks who can, pretty much look like they're doing it all. They're getting all the hype right now. And you would think these guys were the best quarterbacks to ever play college football. And it was a good game last night. Clemson pretty much put Louisville in their place in the first half. Halftime lead was 28-10. Deshaun Watson was playing pretty good. He had a couple interceptions in the first half. Lamar Jackson, kind of got shut down a little bit. He had most of his damage in the second half. He went over 100 yards rushing again for the game. He was over 200 yards passing again for a game. He had 3 or 4 touchdowns again. And Clemson was able to pull it out. And really what I think gave them the edge was their experience. They had been there. They had done it. They had played in a big game like that. Petrino tried to talk about how they've played in loud, big games and big atmospheres before. Not like anything like going into Death Valley with 2 top 5 teams in an ACC battle. This team hadn't experienced anything like that. The Cardinals did very good, all things being said. They made it very competitive at the end. They had to lead at one point in the fourth quarter, and they gave Clemson a game. They made sure Clemson knew, okay, we withstood what you had, now here we come. Can you bounce back? This will only bode well for Louisville moving forward. It's going to help them later in the season when they do get in more games. I know they're real upset that Lamar Jackson was choked a little bit there by Bulware from Clemson. But, hey, that's being in a pile. That's football. It's not right. It's not wrong. It just is. If you don't like it, too bad. It didn't get called, so it didn't happen. Get up, play another game. Next time you come up against that defender, put him on his butt. Make him look bad. That's how you go. What else? College football news-wise. Oh, big news here locally. First time in 11 or 12 years that we have a college football team here in Colorado in the top 25 as CU with their big win over Oregon State yesterday. 46-7, I believe the final score was. They jump into the top 25 in both the AP and the coaches poll. And, good for CU. McCarthy's got a good little program going up there. They're playing fast. They're playing good. The defense is playing quick. They're all pursuing getting to the ball carrier. They're making plays and getting picks. And you're seeing these quarterbacks, Cephalusha, who's been out now a couple weeks with the ankle, but this freshman kid who's come in, whose name's escaping me right now, sorry, and I'm not going to missay his name, so we'll just go with the freshman quarterback. He's playing lights out the last few weeks, and that's what you need. And right now they're sitting at 2-0 in the Pac-12. They're 4-1 on the season. They're scoring over 40 points a game on average. It's fun to see local teams play well. I am a CU fan. It's a team I grew up watching, of course. The early 90s, their success, the Notre Dame success at the time, Michigan had a good team, Florida State and Miami were balling at the time. So those were teams that I watched as a kid. And I like it when CU plays well. They're the best program in the state. I know CSU wants to lay claim to that, and they're trying to take steps to move in that direction. But they're just not there yet. And I like seeing CU get their respect. Now we just have to hope that this young team pretty much that CU has doesn't let it get to their head. They've had some success. They're putting up some points. They blew out a team. They beat an Oregon team at Oregon. But it can't get to their head. They got to come up and play hard again next week. They got to play fast. They got to play smart. And they got to keep playing with that drive that got them those victories they've gotten so far this year. The Pac-12 is no slouch of a division. It's nice to see that they're going to be able to score points, because you're definitely going to need to score points in that division, in that conference, I mean. So good for CU. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it rolling. Let's go Buffs. And yeah, let's just ride it out. Let's have fun with it. Again, this is not a team that I really see threatening for the playoff run. I don't see anybody really in the Pac-12 being able to compete with the SEC teams, and the Big Ten has really turned itself around. I think you're looking at the champion this year coming out of either the Big Ten or SEC, and that's pretty easy to see. Now, Washington could be a sleeper if they, keep their momentum playing and their defense keeps doing what they're doing, and they play, some out-of-conference. I don't know what their schedule looks like, but depending on what their out-of-conference schedule looks like, maybe Washington can get their name in the mix. You're going to have some ACC teams like Louisville and Clemson. Their names will be in the mix towards the end of the season. It's going to be real hard for a Pac-12 team, I think, to get in there. But we'll see how it plays out. Let's see. On the other side of the break, we'll hit a few more stories in sports. Then we'll go over all the NFL games and get to those. Scores that have come in already. Scores that are some games that are still going. Tonight's game, the Monday night game. We'll talk about it all. But we'll get that on the other side of the break. Hey guys, the NFL is back. It's time to win some cash playing fantasy football. TheDirtCannon.com is a local company that has your back. They have produced over 60% winners on FanDuel, DraftKings, and now even Yahoo. TheDirtCannon.com will help you build, play, and win. Build a better team with TheDirtCannon.com. Use promo code RDST and get $5 off forever. And try the Silver membership this week for free. Visit TheDirtCannon.com. And remember, guys, TheDirtCannon.com is a local company here in Colorado. And you got to support the local companies. That's the thing that's going to help the economy the best. And they're going to help your economy the best as they help you win money in your fantasy leagues. One person who is not helping any fantasy owners right now, that is Cam Newton. He had a bad week last week. He goes out early this week with what is now being diagnosed as a concussion. And, he's taken a lot of hits this year. Today, he probably could have avoided the hit that put him out of the game that really cost the Panthers the game. Derek Anderson came in relief, and they ran into a buzzsaw in Atlanta that was on fire today. Matt Ryan and Julio Jones just went off. Atlanta wins that game by about a touchdown margin, a little more than a touchdown. Julio Jones puts up 300 yards receiving. Matt Ryan put up 500 yards passing. And it really just came down to Derek Anderson wasn't good enough. Both of these teams are really evenly matched. I told you guys how I feel about Carolina. They're a team that if they make mistakes, you can beat them. And last year they didn't make a lot of mistakes. That's what they were able to carry themselves to the playoffs that way. They were able to build momentum there at the end of the season, and their defense started really playing very well at the end of the season. You're not seeing that same mistake-free football, the same execution, the same balance that they had last year. And that's what you're seeing, in my opinion, the difference in the Carolina Panthers. They're 1-3. They're playing like a lower-level team because they're making mistakes. They're beating themselves. The teams that beat themselves are going to have poor records at this point. It was a big win for Atlanta for sure. Get that offense on track because next week they have the Broncos. So big win there for Atlanta for sure over Carolina today. The Red Sox have announced today they will retire Big Papi's number 34. The Red Sox don't have that many numbers retired. I was a little surprised to find out how many they actually do have retired before his. They have 9 that are officially retired, and then 3 more players who they just haven't issued that number in a while, which who cares about them if they're not retired for this conversation. But Big Papi will be joining the likes of Ted Williams, Joe Cronin, Bobby Doerr, Carl Yastrzemski, Carlton Fisk, Johnny Pesky, Jim Rice, Pedro Martinez, and Wade Boggs as players to have their numbers retired for the Boston Red Sox. Great honor for Big Papi. He did a lot of great things there. He was exciting to watch, especially when him and Manny Ramirez were back-to-back in the lineup. It was fun getting to see the Red Sox break the curse and win some World Series titles, because they're a team that I definitely followed, just because they were one of the old school teams and because they were the Yankees' rival. And that's a team as long as Steinbrenners are running it, there's a team I don't like, it's the Yankees. Out of any sport, if there's a team I just don't like or I just can't root for, it's the Yankees. And that's why I always kind of rooted for the Red Sox growing up. So good for Big Papi, good for the Red Sox. Let's see how they go ahead and finish off the season. It'd be great to me if the Red Sox and the Cubs met in the World Series. That'd be a great Theo Epstein success story, because he really put in place what the Red Sox are continuing to do, and of course his success now in Chicago. We talked about Jerry Jones the other day and his stupid comments about basically your performer's on the stage and I own the stage, and if you're not going to perform, I'm going to fire you. Well, I don't know if this Cowboys fan was upset like I was about it. Maybe he was trying to get an autograph. Maybe he didn't like Jerry Jones' suit. I don't know. But today, at the Cowboys-49ers game, a Cowboys fan threw a full-size Cowboys helmet at Jerry Jones and hit him right in the head. Right in the face, almost. I don't promote violence in any way, but that was pretty damn funny. The fan probably got kicked out of the game. He's probably having charges pressed against him. It's probably something that Jerry Jones couldn't just let go. But it was pretty freaking funny to me to see that happen today. All right, well that's the stories we're going to talk about. Like I said, we'll get to the baseball playoffs later in this week for sure. But let's just get into some pure NFL talk. Let's talk about the games today, the games we got coming up. It's time for the NFL preview and the NFL review. All right, so we talked about the Miami and Cincinnati game yesterday. We had an early morning game today, of course, over there in London with Jacksonville and Indianapolis. Jacksonville was able to pull this one out. And I'm sorry, I don't know. I know I took Tennessee to win the AFC South, but it doesn't look like anybody really is going to rise to the top in this division. We could have another 9-7, 8-8 division champion here. Jacksonville pulls this one out, 30-27 in London. Nothing really big to talk about there. Alan Hearns had a good game. Andrew Luck, he went for 280. His owner, Irsay, says he needs to play more like Peyton Manning. I don't know if you want to go trying to make Luck change how he plays the game, but you got to put some talent around him. Your GM sucks. He hasn't made the acquisitions or the draft picks you need there in Indianapolis. You spent 5 picks in this year's draft on guys in the trench. That's not paying off for you at all this year. You're not making good free agent pickups. Your coaching staff isn't coaching guys up. It's time for some changes there so you don't waste the best years of Andrew Luck's career, for sure. We talked about the Atlanta-Carolina game. If you had Julio Jones or Matt Ryan on your fantasy teams today, you blew up for sure. If you had Cam Newton or Kelvin Benjamin and you played them today, you didn't get much points or much production at all. Big win for Atlanta there in the NFC South, which is another division. Both South divisions are up for grabs. You could see them go any way. You could see easily both of those divisions with 9-7, 8-8 champions for the division. Here's another team like Tennessee Volunteers in college football. The Oakland Raiders, all they do is win. They're 3-1 right now in the season. They pull out another 1-point win today over Baltimore. So they are now building that intestinal fortitude that it takes to win those close games. This is one where Baltimore was driving late, and on a fourth down play, you see Oakland's secondary, Reggie Nelson, break up a pass, and Oakland holds on with that 28-27